Would you rather work for yourself or be stuck in a 9 to 5? Is working for yourself really worth the hype, or is it better to have a stable job? I've been working for myself for over a year now, and my life has completely changed. Sometimes it's for the better, and sometimes it's not. Let me explain. In this video, I'm essentially going over the benefits of working a 9 to 5, the benefits of working for yourself, the negatives of working for yourself, and the negatives of working a 9 to 5. Starting with the benefits of a 9 to 5 job, you always have a salary. You'll know exactly how much money is coming your way, and I'm gonna speak in terms of most jobs, not including any additional bonuses or extra payments or tips or anything like that. I'm just talking about regular salaried jobs. But essentially, you'll always have a salary. You'll always know what's coming in, whether it's every week, every 2 weeks, or every month. This makes budgeting and planning your life a lot easier. It's more stable than working for yourself. You don't have to constantly hunt for clients or worry you'll make enough this month. You don't have to worry about making enough this month because you already know what you're gonna make, which is super, super nice to have. And there's no really fluctuation, so you don't have to deal with that. There are also many health and retirement benefits. Many companies offer health insurance, dental, vision, 401k, or even pensions. Well, not so much pensions anymore, but those types of things can be super expensive to cover on your own. I think the average healthcare plan in New York is about $500, $600 a month, which is insane. You can have a more clear separation of work and your personal life. When you clock out, you're usually done. You don't have to bring the stress of running the entire business home with you. I do really miss that. And a lot of times now I'll get phone calls from people or clients asking me for, scheduling, all these other things. And I feel like, well, I want these things to move forward and I want more clients. So I just answer it. I try to have a grace period where people can talk to me. So generally it's between 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. and after 9 p.m., leave me alone. But yesterday a client texted me at around 9:30 and I was like, yep, I'll fit you in. And I had no choice but to say yes. Predictable routine. You have set hours, again, for the most part, that give structure to your day, your week, your month, and help you form consistent habits. So things like waking up at the same time is much easier, less responsibility. You have your job duties. You're not the one that has to worry about keeping the entire business afloat. And if the business fails, you could just find another job. A lot of times with people working 9 to 5, they'll have a clear growth path. So promotions, training programs, and professional development opportunities can be built into your career progression. There's a social environment. You have coworkers, you have office events, and daily interactions, which can be great for building connections and friendships. Especially if the company that everyone works for does fail, you can all kind of network together and figure out how to get a new job. Having social interactions is so nice. I think we all remember COVID, how it kind of sucked not talking to people. And some of us lost our minds a little bit, some of us a little bit more than others, but it still happened. The benefits of working for yourself. You plan your own schedule. If you want to work early mornings or late nights, it's completely up to you. If you want to take a random Friday off and run to Splish Splash, you can. There's also no limit to your earnings. Unlike a fixed salary, you can scale your income depending on your industry, effort, and strategy. If there's a cap in your industry, you can pivot, expand, and start a new venture. When I first started working for myself, I created 5 businesses and one of them kind of failed. It's not doing that great, which I kind of figured one of them would. 2 of them are doing super, super well. One of them is doing all right. But the good thing is I could pull money from all these different places. And with one of them, there's likely no cap as to how much money I could make, which is super cool. You also have freedom to choose who you work with. You're not stuck with a horrible boss or a toxic coworker. You're free to pick clients, partners, and projects that align with your values. Now, when a client is being particularly difficult, I don't have to service them. When someone's late, nasty, doesn't want to pay, complains about everything, they're really not worth my time anyway. So I just don't service them or say I'm busy. You get to decide the vision, the direction, and how things are done. There's no one above you that can shut down your ideas. Potential for passive income. You can build systems, you can hire people, or create projects that generate revenue even when you're not working. Seriously, you could be on the beach somewhere. Flexibility and lifestyle. You can work remotely, you can travel, or even move to another country without asking anyone's permission. There's a direct reward for your effort. If you work smarter and a little harder, you see the results directly. You're not waiting on a manager to notice you for a raise. When you work for yourself, you build an asset. Your business can then grow into something valuable that then you can sell, franchise, or even pass down. Now let's get into the negatives. So some of the negatives of working a 9-to-5 job are you're on someone else's schedule. Your boss decides when you work, they can decide when you take breaks and when you take vacation, which as an adult kind of sucks. Your salary is restricted. Raises and bonuses are usually small or they're capped at a certain point, no matter how much value you bring. So it almost doesn't pay to work harder. Limited flexibility. You often need approval for the time off. Again, like an adult, it's weird. And sick days can be questioned. I used to have a boss that would say, well, you have a client today. And I'm like, I might throw up on them. So I'm staying home, thanks. There could be drama, favoritism, and toxic environments that are extremely draining, and trust me, they are. There's also commuting. I think COVID has let people realize that commuting takes chunks out of your life and chunks out of your paycheck just from getting to and from work. I used to work 9 to 5, but it took me an hour and a half to get to work every day. So I didn't work 8 hours. I worked 11 hours because of that commute. That was part of that job. There's risk of layoffs. Companies can downsize or close, meaning your stable paycheck isn't guaranteed. And we're seeing this happen a lot. I also got laid off from one of the companies that I worked for, and about like 1,200 people got laid off that same year. Less control over projects. You may have ideas, but you're still executing someone else's vision. Now let's talk about the negatives of working for yourself. It can be difficult to start up. Getting clients, funding, or building an audience takes time and effort. It can be lonely. Without coworkers, it's easy to feel less isolated unless you intentionally create a network. And I do feel like that sometimes. There's more financial uncertainty. Some months can be great, others can be horrible, so you need to be okay with that. It is extremely stressful. That's why saving money channels like mine are fantastic. There's also no built-in benefits. There's no healthcare, no 401k, none of that stuff. You're responsible for all of it, even your retirement savings, and also things like paid time off. If you're not working, you're not making money, which kind of makes you want to work all the time. But then you have to remember to set boundaries for yourself where you cannot work all the time. Otherwise you'll get burnout, you'll be unhappy, and it will affect your business, but more importantly, your well-being. Those blurred work boundaries are super difficult for me to control. A lot of times I'll be at a friend's event, a family event, whatever it may be, and find myself marketing. It's really funny how that happens. There's also a high responsibility because every decision falls on you. From taxes to customer service to marketing to doing the actual thing that the business is intended for. It requires discipline. No boss means that no one can hold you accountable except for yourself. Risk of failure. Not every business succeeds. Like I said, one of them just wasn't doing well. It's already set up, so I'm just gonna kind of keep it up on the social media stuff, but I'm not really touching it. I'm not putting any more money into it, and eventually I will dissolve it. In my personal experience, I think working for myself is 1,000,000 times better than working for someone else. Even with all the risks, the headaches, the stress, I still like it so much better. I'm doing everything I love to do and I'm answering to no one but myself. But like I said, there are benefits and drawbacks of each. I've definitely been way more stressed than I've ever been in my entire life. In the beginning of last year, when I first started my businesses, I lost about half of my head of hair. It's growing back now, but it's what it is. And either way, whether you're working a 9 to 5 or you're working by yourself, you still need money. Money is super important no matter which path you take. And that's exactly what this channel is here to help you with. So if you want to learn smarter ways to save it, grow it, and make it work for you, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.